Well, hello folks, and welcome to Modular Curiosity, Episode 6. This is a little patch I've been working on earlier today, and I think that later on I might even make a video of just building a patch, coming up with something interesting, and kind of walk through the ideas that I go through my head as I try to come up with something. But today we're going to do an episode about clocks, and I'm going to try something new and different, which is I'm going to try to stay on topic. All right, let's see how that works. Let me just close this off real quick. Okay, so I've set up my standard template, which is just my audio driver going out to my speakers, the mental mixer set to right and left so that we can mix sounds and have volumes, turn them on and off and such. And then today I brought in my favorite clock from JW, the simple clock, and I have from Autodaf a kick drum and a claps just to sort of demonstrate what clocks do. Okay, as this is beating, as we can see at 120 beats per minute, it's triggering this kick drum, which I'm going to put right here, and we can hear it. Ooh, I like the 909 sound better. That's nice. And that's pretty much it. That's clocks. It just drives things at the same level or the same speed. But here's where things really get interesting. What if we take it from here, go to a clock in of a clock divider, and then every other beat, we're going to trigger the claps. What happens there? How about every fourth beat? So that's just what clock dividers do. Now for the next demo, I'm going to go ahead and set up a couple sequences, and we're going to talk about synchronizing multiple sequencers to run at the same speed. The way we do that is, of course, we use a clock. So let me go set that up, and I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay, what I've done is I've set up two sequences that are in tune to each other, but running at different speeds in different places, starting at different times. So here's the upper sequence. And here's the lower sequence. And as you can see, they're not running at the same time. They're at different speeds. And okay, it kind of sounds cool if they're both running at the same time, but they are not synchronized. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take, let's get rid of this. We're going to run from our clock to the external clock of both of them. Now what happens? There we go. Now, they're running at the same time, but I purposely click reset up here so they're not in sync. See, this one is starting now. 5, 6, 7, 8 now. Whereas this one, wow, now. So they're out of sync. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this off again to our clock divider, and I'm going to take, say, every 16th beat. I'm going to go ahead and reset the sequences, and you'll see when that 16th beat, there it goes. When that 16th beat hit, they both reset, and now they're exactly in sync with each other. There's another thing we can do with this. How about if we didn't have, let's say we didn't have these gates. We had a different sequencer, and for whatever reason, we didn't have access to the gates, and I wanted to switch back and forth. Well, you remember that we used sequential switches for that. So what I think I'll do is I'll have I'll just pipe off and out from here to there, and out from here to there, my out from here to there. Have two, and why am I not getting sound? Let's see. Because that's control voltages. I don't want control voltages. I want tones. There we go. Now, what I want to do, let me turn this down for a moment, is every 8 beats, I want to go from this sequencer to that sequencer, and back and forth and back and forth. So instead of putting a gate here, the way we did before where we triggered it, I'm simply going to count the beats using my clock divider. And every 8 beats, I'm going to step up. So let's see what happens here. There we go. So we have our upper one and the lower one. Upper, lower. Now here's the neat thing, we can change the speed of both sequencers with our one clock. Now I'm going to go back to having both outputs there we go. And instead what I'm going to do is add a kick drum. So let's see, how about 1, 2, 3, maybe every 4 beats? So let's use the clock divider and go to 4 and see what happens. Yeah, that works well. Now I want to try a little trick. I want every other 4th beat to be the claps. Now the problem is I don't have an every other 4th beat here. And if I just bring another 4th out and turn this on, whoop, missed it. See, the claps are happening every time the kick drum starts. So here's what I'm going to do. Trigger delay, no, where is it? Button trigger buffer, there it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the trigger in and the trigger out. And what I should do is, there's a button trigger right here, just so I can use to show this. Okay, what this trigger buffer does is it doesn't send the trigger through until it is armed. It'll be armed when something else sends it a trigger. So as soon as I press this, armed, and the very next trigger went through. And it doesn't matter when I press this, the following trigger goes through. All right, so tell you what, we're going every 4th beat here. So every 8th beat, let's arm the trigger. And what happens? Yeah, we get claps on every other beat. Very cool. Now let's take the clock output and go to a closed hi-hat. Okay, well that's kind of cool. And we can take another, say, every 5th beat and trigger the closed hi or the open hi-hat. Maybe what we can do is try polyrhythms. Let's put the closed on every 5th and the open on every 7th. Okay, that's kind of interesting. It looks like actually I did every 3rd and every 5th. Let's try every 7th and every 5th. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, let's do something even a bit more interesting. Get rid of these triggers. This is my favorite trick. No, not as audible. Get the Bernoulli gate. Okay, so I'm going to take the main clock, come in, and out A is going to trigger close hats. Out B is going to trigger open. Now what the Bernoulli gate does, it's basically doing a coin flip. And right now I have it say 100% of the time I want it to come up heads. I want it to come up out A. But as I turn it this way, I'm increasing the probability that it'll come up tails. Ah, there we go. Let's speed this up and get a good beat going. In fact, we can get rid of that sequence as well and just listen to our drum at this point. Now, here's a trick I learned from watching a video by Synthicat. And believe me, if you have not liked and subscribed to Synthicat's channel, okay, hold on. Go do it right now. No, I'll wait. I'm going to wait here till you do it. Go subscribe to Synthicat. You back? Okay, believe me, you're gonna thank me for that. Okay, looking at one of Synthicat's patches, I noticed that he had a Bernoulli gate with an output that wasn't going anywhere. I said, okay, well, why are you doing a coin toss between something and not something else? I mean, I understand closed hi-hats sometimes, open hi-hats other times. And I realized, oh, what he's doing is he's removing notes entirely. How funky is that? I mean, that is a cool rhythm, and it's done without a drum sequencer. It's completely done off of clocks. Believe me, the Bernoulli gate, that's going to become your new best friend. Okay, what's the assignment for this episode? The assignment is to do just what we did. Come up with your own drum patch that uses only clocks and clock dividers. Maybe a Bernoulli gate. Give it a shot. See what kind of cool, funky rhythms you can come up with. Also, it would really help me if you like and subscribe to these videos. It helps me out. And I will see you next time in episode 7 of Modular Curiosity. Until then, stay curious.